Another beautiful day in Acapulco and another beautiful day for learner Tien. My wild card for the year. He's looking good and he just defeated Sasha Zverev in straight sets.
I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out. Oh, I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out.
If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Ben and I'll be bringing you this new mini-series, Calling It Out. And I'll be calling out the best things in tennis that I see. If there's something to talk about, I'll be calling it out. And definitely this is something to talk about. Learner Tien. Come on! I absolutely love this. He's done what seemed the impossible again. He defeated Daniil Medvedev at the Australian Open. Now he's gone and beaten Sasha Zverev in Acapulco. And what a ridiculous start to the year this runner-up of the ATP Next Gen Finals is having. Because now he's in to the quarterfinals and it's just the tennis he's playing. It's fearless tennis from learner Tien. And Alexander Zverev, he didn't really know what had hit him. I don't think the first set ran away from him. Just this one break of serve that proved to be, well, very telling. And I just think that what Tien has in abundance is he's just so aggressive. He's got all the tools as well. Great volleying. Has a very good tennis IQ of when to approach the net and put away volleys as well. But he's fearless. And I think that's the thing which is serving him very well at the moment. And even when he was down 3-1, 4-1 in that second set, he clawed back. Well, I mean, look, you can see it here for yourself. 4-1 down, ends up winning the set 6-4. I'm against Sasha Zverev. Bear in mind, the number one seed at the tournament, the number two seed at the Australian Open. Some people, will they say he's the second best player in the world? Probably some may say Carlos Alcaraz. But still he's up there. He's got the points from last year. And he's always somebody who's very, very tough to beat on a hard court. Especially in Acapulco. He's a former champion from there. Let's have a look at some of the reaction as well. 19-year-old learner Tien is undefeated against the ATP's top five. God, I love that. Defeated Medvedev at the Australian Open and now Sasha Zverev in Acapulco. I'm absolutely loving this. As you can imagine, I picked him as my wild card at the start of the year. I thought that he was going to have a fantastic year. JG went for João Fonseca. They're both doing very well, so I don't think we can either of us can grumble so far. João Fonseca's got his first title. Learner Tien, he's beating big names. And I think that this is brilliant, and it's his first ATP 500 quarterfinal. Making waves in 2025. Brilliant to see. A few more stats for him. Since the ATP rankings were published in 1973, learner Tien, 19 years, 87 days, is now the youngest player to win his first two matches against top five opponents, and only the second American after Jimmy Connors. Whoosh. Wow. I've been having a look through some of the other comments as well. I saw that Gil Gross popped out a tweet saying, I'm not surprised Zverev struggled on this golden swing. And I don't know if it's number one, the Australian Open hangover. Number two, low motivation February. Number three, pressure from number one ranking opportunity. But the fact that I could come up with three possible theories is exactly the point. I think probably more Australian Open hangover than anything. I disagree with number two. I don't think that he's going to lack motivation. I think he does want the number one. I think he wants to pick up the points. So I think he is motivated. But the pressure could be a thing. Number one is quite close. Yannick Sinner, he is not playing at the moment. But I just think that he's come up against some very good opposition. And I think Lerner Tien proved he can beat Daniil Medvedev, who's a multiple-time finalist at the Australian Open. He beat him there in 5 sets, a grueling match. And then he's just gone on and beaten Sasha Zverev here. I just think he's a very good hardcourt player. He's a very, very powerful player. He's a lefty as well, makes it a little bit more tricky. And I think Zverev's other loss to Komasana's another player who's on the up as well. He had a very good, he had a couple of good Grand Slams last year, and I feel that he's one of these players. Lots and lots of charisma on the court, chases everything down. Typically a very good clay court player. Obviously, you expect Zverev to beat him, but anything can happen in tennis. And if people red line, like Komasana's been doing, then anything's possible. So I think he's come up against some good players. I don't think we can rule out the fact that some players are actually raising their game to play Sasha Zverev. Got Vanchin saying Tien is already and will be a big foil for a lot of top players with how smart he plays and how hard he is to beat if you can't finish at the net against his speed. It's easy to watch Fonseca for 5 minutes and figure out he's a generational talent, but Tien is very special too. Yes, I definitely agree with that, Vanch. And I think it's always nice to hear from the actual player themselves when they're a young player coming through. He said, I honestly couldn't tell you how I did it. I went out there, tried to control my side of the court. I knew it would be tough. To come through feels great. I'm really looking forward to playing my next one. And then they asked him about beating Daniil and Zverev. He said, you seem nerveless, are you? He said, the nerves are definitely there. I tried to hide them as much as I can. Sometimes it's easier than others. Focusing on what I can control and keeping my cool as best I can has really taken me a long way. Brilliant to see. I know that we were praising Mira Andreeva for how she deals with some of the pressures on the court. But he seems to have a level head as well, which is brilliant. We got Amy Lundy in saying notes from Lerner Tien as well, saying I would benefit from getting more free points off my serve. In these longer matches, it's tough having to grind out all these service games, so just being able to get some free points off my serve more often would be great. Very, very good. He's recognised where he needs to improve, and if he improves the serve and that becomes an absolute weapon, he's surely going to be taking out players even quicker than he is at the moment. I mean, next up for him, it doesn't get easier, as you know, as you go through a tournament. Thomas Mahatch, he's looking very good. He's knocked out Jakub Mensik and Daniel Altmaier. But Lerner Tien will fancy his chances against another young player. But Thomas Mahatch is definitely a very, very tough opponent. But look who's left in, Nakashima and Goffin. Shapovalov and Giron, and down the other side we've got the Mexican who had a walkover, Pacheco Mendez. He's up against Davidovich Fokina. Some exciting matches to come, but I'm going to be cheering on Lerner Tien. So that's it for this episode of Calling It Out. Lerner Tien, the future of tennis. Tell me your thoughts about him in the comments section. What do you make of him? Do you think he could be a top 3, top 2? Could he be a number 1 one day? Or is it just too early to tell? I want to hear your thoughts. Put them in that comment section. And if you haven't hit the like yet, do it now and subscribe to the channel. And I'll bring you more of these in the coming days.
I'm calling it out.